It is being condemned. I need you to help me be an honest broker. Was it justified, this firing?
Well, it was justified in the sense that these were career officials at the Office of Professional Responsibility that made this recommendation, which is exceedingly rare. In fact, it's unprecedented for someone in this position. These are not political appointees. The OPR, quite frankly, is not viewed as a particularly aggressive office. So all of that makes this a relatively rare sanction coming from career officers. They clearly concluded that McCabe misled them. And that he misled them on one of the core issues they were investigating, not a collateral issue.
I remember from my days of service in the federal government, it was on the watch of Bush 41, Papa Bush. The Inspector General's office was at an arm's length away. In my case, I was an appointee running HUD in 5 states. And I had nothing to do with the Inspector General on a day-to-day basis. Frankly, you didn't want to have anything to do with the Inspector General's office. I just want to clear up any misperception that people might have in thinking that Jeff Sessions or the president could exert influence over the IG, because they can't.
Right. And in fact, everyone that I know of speaks highly of Horowitz, that he's viewed as completely apolitical. And this office, as you note, is insulated like a Sherman tank from any type of outside forces. What's fascinating about the way this is unfolded is not its outcome. I said when we first heard of the report and the recommendation that I thought it was a given that he would be fired. It would be very surprising for Sessions to turn down this type of rare recommendation from the career staff. After all, he followed a recommendation of the career staff to recuse himself, and I think rightly so. What is going to create an issue going forward is whether there will be a criminal referral. You know, Michael Flynn was indicted for making a false statement to investigators. Now, it's true that they were looking at him for other crimes as well. But there will be some that will argue, why would you indict Michael Flynn, but a deputy FBI director is just worried about his pension, not prison?
So which is the greater infraction? And I think you're getting to this now. If, in fact, it occurred the way the Inspector General says it took place, which Mr. McCabe, I understand, disputes, but insofar as he, A, authorized members of the FBI to speak to the Wall Street Journal, then B, if he were untruthful about it under oath, for which of those does he face more exposure?
It's the alleged false statement. You know, as you know, there's a great deal of background discussion that occurs with reporters from the FBI and the DOJ. It's always the misrepresentation. Now, keep in mind that with Michael Flynn, his meeting with the Russians wasn't in any way illegal or unprecedented. It was failing to tell them about sanctions being discussed at the meeting that led to his charge. But this could easily spin further out of control. There was one line in McCabe's statement last night that I immediately flagged, because he said that he had authority to do this, and he conferred with the director. The director at that time was James Comey. Now, the problem there is that James Comey said under oath that he never leaked information and never approved a leak. So if the Inspector General believes this was a leak to the media, it raises serious questions about Comey's previous testimony and could get him into serious trouble.
And of course, McCabe's response to all of this is that this is an effort to discredit him because of testimony he might be able to provide relative to the president and obstruction of justice.
That's right. And his statement was very, very strong. I mean, he's clearly feeling liberated from his previous role. He's able to speak as much as he would like. He certainly paid for that right with his pension. And that's a very sad thing. I have to tell you, I thought this whole thing was sad. This is a man that had a really stellar career in the FBI. And I find all of this, in fact, all of these controversies, to be deeply sad. But that doesn't excuse what he did. But more importantly, even his statement is going to trigger another round of inquiries as to who actually knew about this and was this a leak to the media. Comey has already been accused, as you know, of leaking information through a friend at Columbia Law School after he left. He removed material from the FBI that the FBI has indicated, I think correctly so, was FBI material, not subject to being removed from the Bureau. Some of that appears to be classified. So Comey himself